What up, nerds? Welcome back to the Nerdy Narrative. My name is Leslie Smith, and today on the channel, I am not going to do a book review. I'm going to do a weekly update. I am going to do my best to get back to doing these. If I can't do them every week, maybe I can do them every 2 weeks. I've missed doing these little updates because sometimes I do rereads or other things that I don't do dedicated reviews for. So I want to have a place to talk about them. So I'm going to do my best to jump back into these. So if you are excited to see the return of the weekly update, hit that like button and let me know that you do. I am going to change the format a little bit. I'm sure you all have noticed I have turned into a book review channel, which was what I wanted to do when I first created the channel 5 years ago. How long has that been? I think 2020. So yeah, we're coming up on 5 years on the channel. Dedicated book reviews were what I wanted to do when I got into BookTube. I fell into the hole of doing all of the booktuber videos and tried it, and over time I just learned the things that I liked and didn't like and found out that I really only like doing book reviews. I'm just not into all that other stuff, so I'm not gonna do it anymore. I'm gonna do what I like to do. It's my channel, dang it. So with that said, let's jump into what all I have been up to this week, starting with what I have finished. First up on the list is Into the Black Nowhere by Meg Gardner. This is the second book in her Unsub series. It's a thriller series where each book is inspired by a different serial killer. So you already know why I'm reading this series. Well, actually, the real reason is my friend Ev sent me the first book after she read it. She said, "I know you're gonna love this." She was right. I read it, loved it. Got to meet the author at my local indie bookstore, and just after really having enjoyed the conversation with her, loving the first book, jumped into the second book. I gave this one 4 stars. I got a dedicated review coming out in a few weeks. I've already, well, no, we're not into that section yet. We're into the finished reading section right now. So next up that I finished is The Blood Dim Tide by Stephen Aryan. Another book too, and this time in a historical fantasy series called The Nightingale and the Falcon. This book came out this week on July 9th. The review has been filmed. It's in editing. I'll have it up on the channel soon. You guys, if you are sleeping on this series, you are missing out. This is an epic historical fantasy with high stakes at the heart of war, combining the history of the Mongol Empire's invasion of Persia with a unique magical world. And this book, Goodreads needs to have more than 5 stars for me to give this one because it far outseeds a 5-star rating. Just absolutely loved it. Review coming soon. If you have not read the first book in the series, The Judas Blossom, I will link in the cards and down below in the description my non-spoiler review for the first book in the series, so you can check that out. The last book that I finished this week is Mickey 7 by Edward Ashton. My friend Suze accidentally ordered 2 copies of this book, and she emailed me and asked me if I would like one, so we've been working on this one together, which I need to check in with her and see where she is on this one. This is a delightful science fiction comedy. I would call it comedy, kind of like The Martian by Andy Weir, but more of a storyline, more of an involved plot line. I mean, yeah, this one is kind of a survival story. It's about the survival of the human race just expanding in space, finding other planets that they can colonize, whereas The Martian is about the survival of one man who was left on Mars by accident. What makes this one so funny is the main character, Mickey Barnes. He's a little bit sarcastic and snarky, which I love. I love that he never loses that part of his personality, no matter what iteration he is. Iteration, you may be saying, what do you mean by that? So Mickey, and the reason why it's called Mickey 7, Mickey is what is called an expendable. He has been uploaded into a computer which he regularly updates, and he is sent on dangerous missions, and if he dies, no big deal, they just make another one. And when we start, we meet Mickey 7, who the pilot thinks was killed, leaves him behind for dead. Mickey shows back up at the little dome, and he's like, "Hey, what's up?" Finds out they've already printed Mickey 8. So the two Mickeys decide neither one of us want to die. We're going to try and coexist without anybody finding out. Such a fun book. I can't wait to review that one for y'all. And moving over into the books that I am currently working on. Well, I'm almost done with this one. In fact, I think I'm going to finish it today. The Dark Corners of the Night is the third book in the Unsub series by Meg Gardner, and this one is inspired by the BTK serial killer. This one has some good parts, but it's definitely my least favorite of the series so far. There's way too many statistics and discussion of the profile, talking about the killer, that I just wasn't interested in all that, which is probably because I have watched way too many, all of them, serial killer documentaries, movies. I've read tons of books. I already know all of that. So if you're wanting to see if you might be interested in crime thrillers of this nature and you've not read that many or any at all, I would say The Dark Corners of the Night is a great place for you to test it out, because you're going to learn a lot of information about the type of people who might become serial killers, who might even be born one. So there is some interesting information, just not for those of us who know it already. So yeah, should be finished with that one today. The other book that I'm working on, I'm about a third of the way through, is the advanced reader copy for I Was a Teenage Slasher by Stephen Graham Jones. And yes, he has written the perfect summer slasher story. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Leslie, how could you possibly say that? You've only read a third of the book. Okay, I have read a ton of Stephen Graham Jones, and when they start off this good, there's only one way it's gonna end, and that is pure freaking phenomenally. So I'm excited to finish that one. I should have it done by the time I check in with y'all next week, and I'll be telling you all about it. I'm actually going to try and get it done in time to film a review and have it up on the channel on Tuesday maybe. When it comes out July 16th. I've got it pre-ordered already. I can't wait. One other book that I have to talk about for this week is The Sky on Fire by Jen Lyons. Came out on July 9th on Tuesday. I got the ARC and I just did not finish it. I put it down. I DNF'd it. This is the worst book I have attempted to read in 2024. It was not good. It had so much potential. It had so many really cool things that she introduced, that she created, that she wasted. She didn't develop. She didn't explain. And when you keep making these really intriguing remarks about something and you never explain it, over time, it makes things confusing. It leads to aggravation, irritation, anger, to where I just was like, I'm done with this book. There's nothing about it that I care to read about anymore. So at 63% of the way through, I gave up. I only pushed through that far because I got it on NetGalley and I didn't want it to tank my review ratio. But I finally said nothing is worth picking up a book that I actively hate in order to have a good score. So I went ahead and DNF that one. I did film my thoughts about it, which should be coming out on the channel soon. Speaking of soon, let's talk about what I will be reading soon. Next up on the TBR is Ghost Camera by Darcy Coates. The last book that I read by her was Dead of Winter. I liked the premise. I didn't love her writing style. What caught my attention about this one is I was cruising around on NetGalley and I saw the cover and I was like, ooh, that looks cool. I saw it was by Darcy Coates and I was like, ooh, I don't know. Checked out the book description and that's what got me, and I had to request it, so I'm gonna read that one next. I'm gonna review it. It comes out on July 30th, so I want to have that review done before then so y'all can figure out, you want to pre-order it and get your own copy, or do you want to try and put a hold on it at your local library. For those of you that are curious about the premise of Ghost Camera, here's what caught my attention on the book description. A small number of cameras have the ability to capture ghosts on film. This gift comes at a steep price. The ghosts are resentful and hungry, and the cameras offer them a rare chance to reach their favorite prey, humans. That was all I needed to know. I hit that request button. I was so excited when they approved me. I am hoping to have a good experience with Darcy Coates this time. We will find out very soon. Next up on the TBR is one that is a request that I accepted from an author called Time's Orphan by Haley Reach Chow. There were several things in this book description that caught my attention and had me immediately replying back to Haley with a resounding yes. please send me a copy of this one to read and review. Let me tell you some of these words and phrases that caught my attention. By the way, all books that I'm talking about in the video today will be linked in the description below, a link where you can pick up a copy if you like, and also where you can read the full book description for each of these. But the buzzwords that stood out for me in this one were undead monsters, enchanted blood, a cursed cat, and a necromancer king. There was no way I could say no to this one with all of those buzzwords in there. I just have to know, how does a cursed cat fit into all of this? There have been so many books I've picked up because of a cat, whether it be a talking cat, a murderous cat. Every last one of them, without fail, has turned out to be a book that I loved. So I'm expecting the same from Time's Orphan. One other book I'm going to go ahead and throw out here on the TBR is Journey into the Cosmos by Jake Friedenau. Did I say his name right? I'm not sure I said his name right. I probably didn't, but we all know I can barely speak the English language as it is. This is another book that I accepted for review from the author, and the entire reason why is because I saw the main character was named Raz and was a mage, and I instantly said, absolutely, yes, must read, send it right away. Something you might not know about me is I spent 5 years or more of my life playing World of Warcraft online MMORPG, and my character was a fire mage named Razzle. I immediately have an affinity for this book. So those are the books that are next up on the reading block for me. Other things that are going on with the channel: on Tuesday, if you missed it, my review for The Crimes of Rooker Flynn by A.R. Witham went live on the channel. This is the first book in a YA fantasy trilogy featuring Rooker Flynn from Keymark. If you've read The Legend of Blackjack, you might remember meeting this rebellious, hot-tempered pirate from there. That was a great start to a new trilogy. It takes place after the events of The Legend of Blackjack, so I will have that video linked for you if you want to check it out. I think on Thursday I had a book haul go up, some new books that I added to the Nerdy Narrative library. Next week on the channel, I have my review for Iron Flame going up on Thursday. On Tuesday, I am hoping I will have my review for I Was a Teenage Slasher by Stephen Graham Jones going up. If not, I'll move a different book review over to Tuesday. I left that slot open just in case I'm able to get it finished and have time to review and edit that video. If not, I'll slide something else in and we'll move that one to a later date. I have fallen down the rabbit hole of playing old NES games. My husband signed up for Nintendo Switch Online, which gives you access to a bunch of their old games. Initially, the whole reason I was wanting to play was I wanted to play Paper Mario on Super Nintendo, and I did play it a little bit, but then I found myself back on NES playing Dr. Mario and the original Donkey Kong and raging. I couldn't remember all the things I was supposed to do, and Chris says I was doing it, but I'm pretty sure my controller wasn't responding to the buttons I was pressing in time. You know what I'm saying? You know how that goes, right? I also went to see A Quiet Place day one in theaters. That movie was excellent. It was so funny. I've never heard a movie theater so quiet. People weren't even eating during this movie. It's like we were all trying to be quiet. We were so caught up in the atmosphere of the movie. Just an excellent movie. I would absolutely recommend seeing that one, and I would say see it in a theater. To me, it was worth the money. And then, of course, like I'm sure every one of you are doing, I've been watching House of the Dragon. Been really excited about how that season is progressing so far. And also season 3 of The Mayor of Kingstown. If y'all have been sleeping on that series, that one is really good. Jeremy Renner is the main character. He is known as the Mayor of Kingstown. And when I say mayor, I don't mean the elected official. So what he does, he is the liaison between law enforcement, the gangs on the street, and the gangs in the prison, to just try and keep everything working and everyone happy, everyone with clear territory and not fighting and killing one another. And of course, nothing goes smoothly, and it's so good. We also attempted to become human popsicles and melt to death playing disc golf. I told Chris we have got to get up early, like stupid early, to go play golf because it's just too dang hot. My menopausal ass cannot handle this this heat anymore. I am constantly melting from the inside as it is. Getting out there in that heat when it's upper 90s and feeling like it's 3 digits, I can't do that anymore. Good Lord. Even though I am a terrible disc golfer, I still have a really good time playing. It's a great way to get out, get some exercise, soak up some sun. And then I think the only other exciting thing we did this week is we bought our very first electric vehicle, our very first brand new car since 2009. We traded our 2007 Lexus in on it. We do plan to sell our 2014 Jeep as well to put towards it. We just didn't want to trade it and lose a lot of money. We're going to sell it private so we can get the most bang for our buck. Even that one we bought used. So this is the first new car in a very long time, but we hang on to cars, take really good care of them. I'm excited to see how we like an EV. So if you have an electric vehicle, tell me down in the comments below what you have, if you've had it a while, what you love, what you don't like, all of that fun stuff. If you have any tips or tricks, please share. Like I said, this is our first one. We don't know anything about it, but we like the look of it. We got a 2024 Ford Mach-E in a Russian green. It was the green that did it for me, y'all. This color is absolutely gorgeous, and it has a lot of giddy up and go. I was shocked. I thought an electric vehicle was gonna be slow. Not this car. This one feels just as quick as the IS350 we traded in on it. So we're really happy with it so far. We'll see how it goes as time goes by. That's gonna wrap it up for me this week. I have gone on long enough. It's your turn. Tell me how you've been in the comments below. Let's catch up. Tell me what you've been reading. Any new favorites, any new authors you've discovered you wanna share. Tell me all about it in the comments down below. Don't forget to hit the like button on the way down there to let me know you're glad to see the weekly updates come back. Have a great rest of your day, a good weekend, and I'll catch you in the next one.